Yo, what is going on, guys? We have a bronze 4 US Kayn player. We're going to be taking a look at this game. I can tell you right off the bat, looking at their team, if they have 3 or more melee champs, it's generally a red Kayn game, or if they have double front line, so like 2 tanks or 1 bruiser. 1 tank, generally red Kayn's better. Red Kayn outscales blue Kayn. With that being said, blue Kayn higher elo is generally better, since higher elo games don't typically last longer than the 30-minute mark. So yeah, if you're not at least plat, majority of your games you should be going red Kayn, especially if your team doesn't have a tank. Honestly, this game, I guess since you guys have the Mundo, you could even get away with blue Kayn, but like I said, they have so many melees. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, to where you should be landing like 4-man knockups with your W if you're patient. So with your start, you need to leave base sooner. They shouldn't even be able to get to this bush before you. It's very important you start playing the game from the start. You run out, and then you can block them off or see them at the same time. Like, well, when you get here, they should be there, not the other way around. There's already people in this bush, but don't feel like you have to fight this. If you feel like you have the weaker 1v1 or the weaker all-in, which I think you guys kind of do, and all your teammates aren't here, it's just you 3, I wouldn't fight this. You don't know how many are here. It's kind of greedy. You can go solo start on their wraps, you can go solo start on their red, you can solo start on your wolves. Kayn doesn't have to really start on a specific camp. Ideally, you do kind of start ideally on red side, full clear up, finish 315, and then you can like scuttle gank or gank into scuttle. But yeah, don't feel like you have to die for this. This is just really pointless. Even if you get some essence, like early essence doesn't give you that much. The longer the game goes on, the higher value the essence is, in terms of like 1 essence now isn't worth near as much as 1 essence 10 minutes into the game. So even if you do get some essence, if you die, it's not worth it. And you're just going to mess up your clear. What you'd want to do is get your ward down and then reset, get oracles, go solo start wolves. Then you could go straight to his wraps, then red, or you could wolves blue, go to his wraps red, that type of thing, since Nocturne's probably going to start with his bot side. So yeah, I just don't like this. Right, this is just very risky. You don't need to coin flip it. Not a fan. Morgana gets the snare. She wastes the side. Now she's wasting her ignite. Your teammates are falling behind. It looks like this might actually turn out in your favor, but do you really want to do things where it's like a 50-50? You don't want to be a 50% win rate player, you know? It's just super risky. Very unnecessary. Like I said with the essence, just not worth. You should have started your camp by now. At this point, just ping your laners off. They shouldn't leash this late. Like past, honestly, 136, they should be leaving to lane. So ping off your support. It's really bad, because if she misses any CS here, she's going to hit a late level 2. So this is actually like really, really bad. You don't want her to leash you at this point. You could solo start wraps if you really want to. I would still full clear though. Kayn can still comfortably full clear, even if he's low on health from a weird nonsense you guys pulled. I would have red, saved smite for golem. I would have EQ'd over this wall. There's no point to go to raptors next. You're just breaking up full clear. Nocturne can't match full clear speed that Kayn can put out. Nocturne's full clear usually ends around like 325, so you could beat him to scuttle and everything. No reason to smite big raptor. Big raptor's a waste. It's a useless like safe smite for either. Save it for important stuff like big golem. It's really good. Big golem does as much damage as red buff, actually more. And using it for scuttles as well. Other than that, definitely we want to avoid using smite on big raptor and big wolf generally. So you're trying to take these kind of at the same time. I kind of see what you're trying to do here. You got your W at level 3. If you do a full clear, you can actually get 2 points in your queue and then get your W at level 4 if you want to. That works well too. But like ideally, like we should be level 4 right now. We shouldn't still be level 3. Since we started late and we didn't do golems, like picture this in your mind. You're at this same exact spot at this same exact time, except you're level 4. That's what I want you to think about. You E, make sure you nip the wall. There's no reason to break your E early. Might as well use its full movement speed. You also get a bunch of vision when you're in the wall. If you don't know where the enemy jungler is, you don't want to smite it early. I would probably also hold on to your W since it's a long cooldown. You just assume, like honestly anything less than plat, that the junglers 9 out of 10 games are going to start with their bot lane. You can tell from like who gets to lane first though in this game, since it was a weird start. It might have been hard to tell. But yeah, just assume enemy jungler 9 out of 10 times starts with their bot lane. So you would assume he's going to be coming from, if he have full clear, he's coming from here. From a partial clear, he'd be coming from here. So whichever one you think he's coming from, you'd probably want to push it away. Now you're level 4 off the scuttle. You would look for a gank here. You want to wonder where the Pantheon is. You could maybe get something off top. It's not going to be a kill though. Generally we want to avoid situations if it's going to show us on the map and not be a kill. So here Mundo's got more minions, so this is actually, I would have preferred hovering mid since Pantheon would have been really far shoved up, and ganking for Sylas early is way easier than ganking for a Mundo or a Nasus. If you like kind of think of Mundo, even though he's actually pretty good top right now, ganking for him early can be really hard. Kind of like ganking for Vladimir or a Nasus. They just don't have hard CC. So Sway's pushing a Nasus. He can just sit back. Nocturne shows up. I would scrap with him. It's honestly fine to scrap in a limit test. I'm not really sure who would win here, but I do know if you fight him near this wall, even if the fight goes south, you can just queue over the wall. So yeah, I'd fight him. You have top prio. There's no reason to run away from this. I mean, you have mid prio too, honestly. Like your Sylas triple CS, he's a level up, and his wave's going to be pushing. So I would have quick scanned. Do I have prio? Yes. We're equal HP. Let's fight. Like that was a bunch of essence, and you might have been able to solo him since he has lethal tempo. Basically, right when he procs his lethal tempo, you're going to float into the wall, like try to time it out, and then all in him, and then you'll wreck him with your conquer, because lethal tempo's got a pretty long cooldown once it triggers. It's not showing me here, but I'm pretty sure it's like a 10-second cooldown or something. It's pretty long. But yeah, that was a wasted fight. You should have taken it. This is a dumb gank. If you want, you can, if your Mundo was really low on HP and he needed to back, you would help him shove, but there's really no reason to help him shove here. You're just kind of stealing minions. You win this. Yeah, just fight it. Fight. Just keep fighting. This is easy. It's very important before and after every single fight you press tab to look at items and to also see their summoner spell. So for example, you see Nasus no Conquer, you see Nocturne no Conquer, you have Conquer, you're on full conk stacks, you just fight it, bro. They were super low. You would have wrecked them both. One more Q probably nearly kills both of them. And plus they're both on potion. So at this point, Mundo's low, you do want to shove this and then let Mundo reset. So that's good. But you need to back off at this point. Hold on, I'm going to turn down the pings a little bit. Pings are hella loud. So your best move at this point is to get opposite side scuttle. I'd cross through mid. I would just use your E. Yeah, kite away and go back in. Go back in, your E's up, hit the wall right here. Use your E immediately. You could have used it a bit sooner, maybe gotten the kill. But I'd go for the opposite scuttle at this point. You're just over lingering. You see someone, and in your mind, you're not really thinking, can I get the kill? Because if you really think about this, are you going to kill anyone? And no, you're not. I think we both know that. So it's a waste of time then. There's no reason to be there. You're not a laner, you're the jungler. You only show up to a spot if you know you're going to get a kill out of it. Wow, they gave that to you. That was nice of them because they started it. Normally in low elo people do weird shit. Don't feel like you have to take an early dragon if you're not level 6 yet. Especially in solo queue. Pro play is way different, bro. But in solo queue, if you're not even level 6 yet, going for dragons can be really, really bad. It takes so long to take, and it doesn't give you much gold or XP to where you could have taken golems, wraps, and wolves in the time it takes you to take this. Plus, if they show up and coin flip it and get it, I mean, it's just so much risk, not much reward. If you were already level 6, I would say go for it, but it just feels kind of pointless. Once again, you're moving for plays where you already know you're not going to get a kill. It's pointless. If you know you can't get the kill, just go back to full clearing, man. I would back on your first big power spike. Since we're going red Kayn here, you went Conqueror, obviously. We're probably going to back for our Iron Spike Whip, buy as much of our Gore Drinker as possible. Another option you have on Kayn that's meta right now is you can actually rush Lucidity Boots. Lucidity Boots are insanely good. Rush on Udyrs and Zhao. I can't think of any more right now, but there's a lot of meta junglers. Udyr's not meta anymore, but there's a lot of meta junglers who will just rush Lucidity Boots because it gives you a lot of cooldown reduction. Ability haste, that helps you clear your camps faster anyways. So you can actually get away with that on Kayn. You're waiting for your red buff, that's fine. It was about to be up anyways. Just shoot to hit level 6, ideally on Kayn, before 7:30. If you're hitting it later than that, that means you either died or you did a bad jungle pathing. In this case, you didn't full clear, which is bad on Kayn. You always full clear unless you're getting cheesed and stuff. And even then, in this game, you could have done it. So yeah, you should really be level 6 by now. With slower full clear junglers, they do it by the 8-minute mark. With Kayn, ideally you're doing it before 7:20, 7:15, or even before the 7-minute mark. Especially if you're gonna steal as many minions as you did, you should really be hitting level 6 before the 7-minute mark easily. So yeah, I prefer to see you AFK power farming in a linear fashion so they can't spawn in perfectly, than I do to see you just walking at ganks so you know you can't get a kill on. So at this point, when you're in this area, what you're going to want to do is you're going to scan to the 2 closest lanes you can affect. So that's obviously top and mid, so what you're closest to. You're going to look mid. You're going to say, oh, Silas is freezing. You're going to look top. You're like, okay, this wave's going to reset. That's a lot of useful information. Just glance over. You can use your F keys or click on the mini-map. Either one's fine. If you're playing on lock screen, I'd recommend only locking it with your thumb on the spacebar. I wouldn't recommend permanently locking it. Since he got the drop on you, this is weird. You can smite the blue buff to heal. I wouldn't do it too soon because then you'll just set it up for him to take it and then he might get level 6. So the first thing you should do when he hits you here, since he has lethal tempo, is you're going to want to E into this wall and time out his lethal tempo. So after he hits you, it takes 1.5 seconds to proc. And once it does, if he hits you again within like 3 seconds, it puts another 3 seconds on his lethal tempo. So if you can time out these first 3 seconds, then you just all in him and destroy him. Or you could just hit him and press R and just sit inside of him. That works too, since you have your R. You gotta do something though. Time him out, bro. Time him out. See, now at this point, his lethal tempo is already over. So now you're timing him out when there's nothing to time out. And you see how it's on cooldown? It was basically just went on cooldown right when you went inside. You W, you get the kill. Just know you could have soloed him. Either R him sooner or E through the wall and time out the lethal tempo fight when it's on cooldown, since he had a huge HP advantage on you at the time. But nice job staying alive. Yep, use your E. Generally, when you're walking around on Kayn, you want to use your Qs. Using your Qs is faster than just walking. When you're inside of your E, you don't normally use your Qs unless it's to get to a niche wall. Like from here to here, Kayn can actually make it when he's Eing if he like Qs over on this part. Other than that, when you're just walking, you use Qs to get around whenever it's up. So you look over here, you say, oh, enemy bot lane shoving, this is gankable. That's a good call, I like it. You skip in the camp. At this point, oh yeah, you should have a sweeper, my guy. Any kind of heavy gank jungler should really have sweeper, or just jungling in general. That's why you want to get your ward down no later than the 55-second mark. You want to start your back no later than the 55-second mark. And then you can lay your ward during your back, then you get sweeper. But we never did that, and even when we have been backing, we haven't been getting it. So ideally, we would be using it here, and like, oh, why does it matter? We would know immediately if they know it's... Like, we would understand why they're reacting the way they are. And we could also break the wards, take a camp, and come back if we want to. So here, like, we don't know. Like, we're looking at them. They probably don't know, but our teammates are starting to walk at them. I'd go for the melee champ. I'd go for the Ornn unless you had your R to get on the Trist. It's a little awkward the way you went in, honestly. I would have just swung out farther and came around this way, because even if you go through this wall, they have time to react. So it's like, this is pointless. Either don't take the gank or go the long way around. If you can't come up behind people on melee champs or just ganks in general, it's just a waste of time. You would have been better off golem wraps. You get a little bit of essence on the Ornn. The gank drags on, so Nocturne gets on you. You have nothing up. All you can do here is blue smite him to try to get away, and then you might get away because it's gonna slow him and speed you up. Nice, you blue smite. You can Q away just like that. It's fine. You can hit him with a W. Yep. And then they get to Q. Get back off. Yeah, that's tough. I would just turn on her. That was a tough thing. I would say the only thing you might do differently in the future is if the enemies are going to do wild stuff, is right here. I would have ran towards your turret. The closer you are underneath your turret, it's generally harder for them to kill you and get away. Plus, you could have used your E to heal off the turret through any structure or wall. But I mean, not too bad. You actually played that decent. It was just a really forced gank. And now, since there's nothing to gank, you scan. You're nothing to really gank. No one's low. You just farm. That's it. You just farm. You look bot and mid. You're okay. They're full. You'd stop looking at that moment, and then you'd go look mid. You're like, okay, if I see Pantheon, we gank. But now, okay, so now that you see him, now you can go. You started going a little early. But yeah, this is very gankable. Don't take the shortest path. You'd want to take this back wall. Rushing from the front, they're just going to walk away. So you're going to wait in this bush until Pantheon steps back up. Like, you need them to step up more. You're going to wait. Yep. You don't want to show yourself. You can go for Scuttle. If you think Nocturne's going to walk over here, I'd bush camp him and wait for him. You're going for another dragon. I'm not too crazy about it, honestly. Going for dragons is better than doing nothing. But like I said, like, you could have done Wolves, Gromp, gank top, invade. For as long as this takes. But this is better than doing nothing. This is better than just waiting in a bush or doing a really weird route. Get on the Ornn. Just kill Ornn. You want red essence anyways. I think you just died. That's what happened. Like, you're not very strong. You're actually pretty far behind. I don't know why this sounds so loud. It's actually hurting my ears. One sec. Alright, so let me explain something. You're behind. You don't have Gore Drinker. You're not Redkin yet, so you're not really healing off your attacks. Your goal is to get on who you can get on. So here, when Tristana jumped away, there's no reason to chase her. Ornn could already basically solo you at this point, especially if he has Ignite. So you're actually going to want to watch your kiting. Like, if you had Blue Smite, you could walk at her. Yes, Blue Smite are her. But at this point, she's gone. You're not going to touch her. Like, you're going to turn on Ornn, get your red essence, and kick his butt, and get full conk stacks. Like, you don't go to the Trist, no. You see how Ornn's nearly almost killed you? Before Trist even went to hit you, Ornn got you down to 200 health. Just fight the Ornn. Did you even get your healing out of the wall? I don't know if you did. Okay, it was just on cooldown. But yeah, basically if you fought Ornn, you could have potentially retreated back anyways. You bit off more than you could chew. Buying more and more of your Gore Drinker. Finally got your second form. Pretty cool. As long as you're getting second form on Kayn before 15-minute mark, you're sitting pretty. You hit your level 6 fairly late for how much minion XP you stole. Just remember, full clear on Kayn, 9 out of 10 games. Unless you're going to run a hyper cheese route and like solo start on their Raptors or Wolves into their Raps while they're getting their leash bot lane. You could do that a lot, honestly. Just Wolves, Raps, red, Golem. Then you'd like Gromp, blue, Raps, your red, Golem. That works as well. Just remember, 9 out of 10 times, if you're playing below plat, the enemy jungle is going to start with their bot lane, regardless of side. So you already really know where they're going to start. Tristana, no jump. Remember, kills off kills and full bomb pops. She gets jump resets, so don't go too crazy here. Yeah, that's just a pointless. Remember, if you can't get a kill, there's no reason to go there. You may say, well, what does that mean? That means you just showed yourself on the map, which is bad. If you don't get anything out of it, you'd been better off just going golems and waiting until they push turret. You never want the enemies to know where you are if they don't need to know, because now it lets them go for Herald. It lets them play more aggressive elsewhere on the map. So now this is when you could go in. You could go in and catch wave and like knock them up and stuff. Or you can give more plates and wait for your bot lane to come. Either's fine. I probably would have waited for my bot lane. You're using your W too early though, man. There's no reason to. Using your skill shot out raw like this, I don't know if you've ever played Lux or Blitzcrank, it's just how you miss them. And the enemies are expecting it. Like, people generally know what the champions in League do. They know you have a skill shot and they're trying to dodge it. So, since they know and they're trying to dodge it. As they dodge, they're basically not moving away from you, but they're just juking back and forth indefinitely, which makes it easier to stay on top of them with Qs and autos. So when you come out of this wall, you're just going to Q on top of them, and if you need to, in a pinch, you can blue smite R whoever you want to R. That's it. Like, that's how you survive on Kayn, is just blue smite R whenever you need to. So you're just going to come out of this wall and Q on them, hold on to your W. Don't do it unless you know you can knock them both up, or until after they've used a dash or a flash or something. Using it early is really, really bad. Like, this was so greedy. You get the attach on her. Just, like, yeah, let me show you. So we use our W too early. When we come out of her, we're behind her. That's good. You have red buff. She ults you the wrong way. Just get on top of her with your auto attack. She already has to run past you. So you're body blocking her here and you're slowing her with autos. So all you want to do is just auto her and then wait for your W's up. Even though your Q came up and you really want to use it, you shouldn't have, because now you're behind her and now you're not body blocking her. And she just walks away from you. So you should have saved it. I don't mind you backing up there. You were getting kind of low. It's fine. Let's skip forward. Yeah, you're just throwing out raw W's nonstop. It's insane. Gotta hold on to them, man. You're not Blue Kayn. Blue Kayn's a little different because his come out way faster, and a lot of times Blue Kayn will just throw them out to poke. Red Kayn, it's normally to the death. You have to stand. Plus on Red Kayn, you have to stand still. On normal Kayn, Red Kayn, you have to stand still to cast it. So it puts you at a disadvantage. Blue Kayn, you don't have to stand still. It doesn't really throw off your movements. It doesn't slow you down. So here, as you come through the wall, you should have been using your E to come through the wall at a favorable angle to where you're behind him. So you would have came out like right here, and then you could have walked into melee, started autoing him before you Q. Now, if he's going to chase your teammate and keep chasing, then you can just Q immediately. But like we talked about, you don't want to use your Q to where it puts you in a non-chaseable situation. So E through, you could Q on him, W. So I guess you throw out a raw W here. In this situation, even though you're generally not supposed to, it's kind of okay since you're saving a life. There was a greater meaning behind throwing it out raw rather than just being lazy and impatient. You were actually saving a teammate. So in this case, it's fine. You get it. It works out beautiful. This is fine. Here, you're not saving anyone. It's just being greedy, and they could flash it, dash, anything, and then you're never going to catch up. You blue smite him, just kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. Yep. And then you E through the wall. Like, you could take 3 more turret shots and probably not die. It's not a big deal. Now that he's dead, like, this is normally the times where you take dragon. After you get a kill, a pick, this is when you would do it because there's no one to contest. This is when it's the safest and you're not throwing off a lot of tempo to randomly go take it, throwing off your level 6 and your power spikes, etc. Yeah, just take this. It's on the way. Yep. E through the wall. Yep, and that's exactly what I was talking about. When you're in your E, you can Q to help you get just certain ones. You could do that with this too. You can E through here. I'd recommend doing it in practice tool because it's not super easy. But you can E through and Q to stick this. Like I said, you can E through this and Q to stick it. So when you're ganking from here and the enemies are here, you just like pop through, boop, and then you can stick this and then get a nice little flank angle on them. All right, let's keep going. You take your blue and your gromp same time. I like how you're taking them at the same time. I don't like how you skipped wolves though. You might as well have done wolves into those, even if their scuttle's up. You keep breaking up your clear. Now your gromp's going to spawn at a different time than your wolves. Plus your wolves aren't going to be respawning at a higher level. Just do the full clear, my guy, unless there's a bigger reason not to. Just knock it up or smite it immediately, one or the other. You want to take the shield off. And push it, like you should be pushing that to your Mundo for the top prio. Don't push it towards the mid. Your mid laner's not even here right now. You can take Herald, that's fine. Just know that if you're taking Herald later than the 13-minute mark, you're not going to get the second one. After you get this Herald, like I said, you should really be getting it before the 13-minute mark so you can get the second one, and if you get it before the 13-minute mark, you can lay it before the 14. At the 14-minute mark, turret plates fall off. So now you've already missed out on mid turret plates and top turret plates, which is a lot of gold. Keep that in mind. You could definitely dive this. You're gonna need minions though. When you're waiting for dives, feel free to farm camps. Like I would just go take the golems. There's no reason to stand here. Look how big this wave is. He might even be able to see you with minion vision. He can't quite see you, but there's no reason to wait on a big cannon wave. Just take the golems. You going for the dive. I honestly don't like this play. I'll tell you why. You're both melee champs. For you to even approach him, you're gonna be taking 2 to 3 turret shots before you're even in melee or whoever's tanking. So I don't like it. Plus, you don't have high damage or heal cut. You have no ignite or executioners. This is a self-heal champ. Things that run conquer or self-healers, even though you didn't go conquer because he's a noob. For some reason, noob Nasus always take fleet. Fleet's so bad on Nasus. Good Nasus is always go conquer unsealed spell, but I mean, you can go fleet in a heavy poke matchup. That's not the point. The point is the whole point of diving is you have your minions tank the first few shots, and then you can both walk up to him in melee without the turret hitting you, and then start bashing his head in, and then you take turret shots. But yeah, you should have taken golems. There's no reason to rush this. Take golems, let Mundo shove in the wave, then you kill him. Another thing you did wrong here, besides like forcing it way over the top, use your W way too soon. It's easier to land the closer you are. You also should have blue smited him before you use W to slow him down. That way he can't dodge it as easy because it slows his movement speed, obviously. So you should have queued into him. Use W at point blank range after he dictated his movement, which path he was going to run, that way, or whichever way. And then when you're on him, you are way too early. I think you did dodge a turret shot, but your R heals you a lot, especially if you're low on health. It heals you a crazy amount on Red Kayn. So you generally, if you're going to tank turrets, you want to get down to where like one more shot will kill you, and then you use R to dodge a shot and swap it out. Like Mundo can't even help you yet, and now you're going to force him to tank when you're like full HP. So you could tank as long as possible until you need to R, then you can R and your teammate's tanking. So I assume you guys don't get the kill here. And now imagine if their jungler showed up and R'd, like this would be really bad. Go for the dragon. I like it. I don't like rushing the first couple of dragons, especially if you're not level 6. So the first 2 can be kind of bad, but if you're already level 6 and up, your power spike, you have your second form, I don't mind it as much because you're not really throwing yourself off to do it. Pantheon's pushed up. Just take the E angle. Okay, he flashed. It's fine. Just let it go. If they flash, consider that a win. There's no reason to take a turret shot and show yourself. You're gonna need to... Yeah, I think that's fine. Just flash. That's tough. Yeah, that mainly just came from your being greedy. You're being really greedy, and you randomly just went here to hit it. It's never worth it, dude. If you're gonna show yourself just to do like 100 damage to someone, it's never, ever, ever, ever worth it. Like you could have taken golems, red, and wraps. You could have full cleared instead of dying and been in his jungle by the time you spawn or more. So never, ever, 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 never, ever show yourself unless you think you're gonna get a kill. It's just pointless. You put yourself at harm's risk, you give them a lot of info, and you're not really getting anything useful done. The baseline for what you should be doing at any given point is consuming resources, not showing yourself. Showing yourself doesn't consume resources, it just gives them useful information. Yep, nip the wall, extend it. Like I said, ideally try to blue smite first. You can even, like if you're not quite in range, you could EQW, like EQ blue smite W to get in range better if you want, because your Q's on a really short cooldown anyways. Nice pick, man. At this point you would want to lay Herald since you got a pick. I'm gonna start speeding through this. You're throwing out your W's way too soon. Just wait till he starts his jump animation. Don't go fishing with it. It's a longer cooldown than your Q's. You don't want to just toss them out like that. Yeah, it was kind of shitty. I don't know why your team left. You guys should have just taken the turret. Normally when you get a pick, that's when you lay Herald, but your team just ran away. It was so strange. I would just go grab red and then defend turret here. So as he shoves up, you want to grab that wave. In this case, you wouldn't want to golems because this is worth more than golems by a lot. I guess you didn't think your team needed you. You can also defend turret if you want. Let me tell you, dude. On a full clear jungler, you only have like 5 CS per minute, just about, which is really, really low. On a full clear heavy power farm style junglers, in majority of your games, you should have around 7 to 10 CS per minute. 7 to 10 is usually the range. So just from a CSing standpoint alone, we've been doing a lot of weird plays. We did a few top, we did a few bot, we did a few mid where we knew we weren't going to get a kill, but we just showed up to look at them and maybe land a stray W. Like, those are all opportunities where we could have taken 2 camps or more. Keep that in mind. Just take this fight, even if MF's low. You have your turret to retreat to. I would take this. Before and after every fight, you press tab. So here you're like, I'm full item, he's full item. We're both tier 2 boots, so we have the same gold spent. He is a level up on you. Like I said, you are near your turret, so this could be a bit of a limit test situation. So after you decide, okay, we're full item, we're both one full item, then you'd say, what are our keystones? You're Conqueror, he's not. So you actually kind of win this. Plus, when he Rs, no, you R'd way too early. When he Rs, you can time out his R with your R. You can sit inside of him, it's like for 3 seconds or something. And his R only lasts 5 or 6, so you R'd way too early, dude. You only R when you're about to die, or if you're dodging something insane, or to time something out. This was just like your full HP. You didn't time out anything, really. Like, this is when you would have won a Ard, because now you're fighting big woofers, and he's going to knock your head in. Oh, you're lucky. Lucky doesn't have Ghost. Gets the MF. You don't have your R. His R finally ends. When Nasus is on his R, his Q goes on like a half cooldown. Gets really big. Get the kill. I like how you're actually taking these at the same time. That's so funny that you're doing stuff like this, but like other things, I think it would be reversed almost. See, like, you don't have your R here, so it's going to be hard to get out of that situation. Don't be too greedy. Remember, you can also use your Qs to get around walls and corners, like little ones. This would have been fine if you had your R, but now you're just going to die. Like, that's really greedy. And your W is on cooldown. Generally, when you're in these tight spaces, you force them to chase you, and then you hit them with a big W. At that point, you can either Q in or just Q out. But we never just want to raw Q in and not have R or W. That's just a really good way to die. We have Gore Drinker. We're going into our Black Cleaver, I believe, and the Sterix. That's fine. Very standard red Kayn. I saw your runes. Your runes and items look perfectly fine. I don't know why you keep going for Nocturne when he's got on his spell shield. That's really weird. Keep in mind, when you hit his spell shield, it gives him a shite load of attack speed. Like, it gives him an absurd amount for a few seconds. So, like, whenever you hit it, you're actually just kind of helping him. I would have actually rather seen you gone for the Nasus. Your best possible move here, in my opinion, would have been hug the wall. He's already rooted. Go for the Nasus, Q on top of him, set it up to where you're, like, right where my cursor is. So he's technically in front, to where if anyone goes to follow up, like right when you're about to get CC'd, by Pantheon jump or this Ornn nonsense, you just toss out a W and get like a 3-man knockup, and then you can R if you want. But peeling off to the side for like a random bruiser is generally not the move on Red Kayn. On Red Kayn, you want to be like, that's more of a blue Kayn thing. On Red Kayn, you want to be your Q's hitting multiple people, your W's hitting multiple people. You're in the thick of it to maximize your healing and just CC. Now, and when you're in the thick of it, it works when you have your R. If you don't have your R, it's really dangerous, because then you just die and you don't have enough healing. Your R gives you a crap load of healing, man. So yeah, you just E through the wall, he can't get you. Your E is like one of the best moves in the whole game. Yeah, there's no reason to throw out only time you ever throw out a tipper W on normal Kayn or Red Kayn is if you have no other choice, or if it's to like save someone's life and you have no other choice. This isn't to save anyone. You have choices. Just Q in, blue smite, then W. We're gonna speed up. You die because you're a goofball. I don't even know if you used your Gore Drinker. A lot of times on Kayn, your Gore Drinker is only like on a 10-second cooldown. It's really short to where you pretty much use it non-stop. Like every time you Q and it's up, you're pretty much gonna Q Gore Drinker to stay as healthy as possible. Like if you know the fight's gonna be super scrappy and you're gonna like need it because you're frontlining super hard, then you can save it. Like you Q in, you auto attack, you W, whatever, and then you can save it for the next Q Gore Drinker. But generally you just use your Gore Drinker every single time it's up on Red Kayn, especially if your R's up, because you could always R to get your health back. So another random raw W, you've revealed yourself on the map. If you didn't do this, they might have pushed up farther. It's just very unnecessary, very short-sighted. You immediately, okay, so yeah, whenever you're in a pinch, the whole point of taking blue smite is you would have just blue smited her or him and then just pressed R. You could have sat inside. When you come out of them with the R, you get like half your health back. Let's get forward. We're just dying a lot. We're making a lot of mistakes, positional and mechanical. Let's clean up these mistakes, man. You can easily get to gold. Easy. Kayn is one of the best champs for climbing with. So right now, all you're waiting to do is just set something up with Morgana snares, MFRs. You don't have to do anything crazy. If they overextend, you can go in. Other than that, you gotta make sure your MFR is up. Yep. Ooh, Silas just ran in and entered. Once again, there's absolutely no reason to force out your W. Nasus isn't about to kill anyone on your team. You should have just queued in, set it up to where your W could hit multiple of them. So you would queue in, he's slightly in front of you, Pantheon goes to jump, you toss W, stun him out of the air, he doesn't get to stun you, puts his jump on full cooldown, and you knock Nasus up as well. There's just no reason to throw it out that soon, in my opinion. Well, not in my opinion, as a matter of fact. It's not a 3-second cooldown to where you can just toss it out non-stops. Knock him up, you Q in. You don't have your blue smite, so you actually need to be a little careful here. If you had blue smite, you would just like Q blue smite or the Tristana. Blue smite would give you the damage to press it. Here I would just slide into the wall, try to catch up, get some extra HP. You can Q to catch up. Like queuing is faster than walking. You get the Dragon Soul, that's cool. That's cool for your team. If you get Dragon Soul, especially if it's Ocean or Flame, it's generally a win unless they get Elder. If they get Elder, it just beats Dragon Soul really hard. See what you did this time. I assume it's the same mistakes. Probably throwing out W's way too soon. And yeah, okay, you actually knocked him up really good. You didn't blow his spell shield, which is perfect. You don't want to blow Nocturne's spell shield because it gives him much of attack speed. So you actually timed your knock up on him beautifully. You get the knock up. Now you just need to like get an R down. Like you need to press R on anyone you damage for like, I think it's a couple 3 or 4 seconds. It's a long time. You can then R on Red Kayn or on Kayn in general. So there you should have R'd anyone. Then you could have waited until your W and your Q was up. You could slide out, get a 3-man knock up, Q through Gore Drinker, and you win the game. Huge misplay there. Just not pressing R essentially. Got our Black Cleaver, we'll get that into Sterix. Like I said, your items and your runes are fine. If anyone doesn't have Conquer, you can generally solo them on Kayn. Especially, I mean, you have Ocean Soul. I think you could solo him. Just wait to use your R until he uses his. Once he's off his R, he can't solo you. Once again, before and after every fight, you check items. After is just to like double check. But before you check to see if you can win the fight. So he's got 3 full items, you only have 2. This would actually be a really hard fight to win because of that, even though you have Conquer and he doesn't. So you actually may not want to take that. I mean, if you're under turret, you'll win it, but it's going to be tough. I'll take this, slide through. You're going to Q right on top to where your W hits both of them. So you're going to Q right into him and then W all 3. You just QW, just like that. Hit all 3. But yeah, you're throwing out a raw W. You're only hitting one person. You're not even setting up a Q. Like, the W makes... Because now your W's on cooldown, right? Like, what's going to keep you alive here? Like, you do have your R, to be fair. But if you were to Q in, immediately, if they run, you're safe. If they attack you, you're safe. Because if you Q in and immediately W, they get knocked up out of the air. They can't do anything. Like, the W is your Q insurance, basically. That you're safe after Q. Make sure you use your gourd drinker and everything. You land the knock up. This is where Kayn shines. These scrappy 3-4 man fights, or just being on the front line. So now you're just gonna make sure you're setting up your W's with your Q. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You Q'd in a way to where you can knock them both up. That's exactly what we want to do. Cool. Yeah, you should probably just look for the end, or at least get inhib. Inhib is typically better than getting Baron. Going for that raw W is actually kind of fine since he was snared and the snare was going to wear off. But like I said, normally you want to just Q into them then W, so you're closer. Don't force, just take the turret. At this point, if you don't think you can end, you just push Baron or reset if you need to. Your team's healthy though, so like this is probably end. If they step up for this, they die. Yeah, if you're Sterix now, you're absurdly fed. You could go for GA, Death's Dance, Last Whisper, Edge of Night, Sorrel's Grudge, all the above. You guys are pushing bot. I mean, honestly, you could probably just push mid and end. I guess you're doing bot because you already have mid in him. But if you have super minions, if you have a Baron empowered super minion, like this guy is ridiculously tanky. Remember, you can E through here, Q into the wall, maintain your E speed. But make sure you're using your Qs when you're just walking. It's faster than walking. There's no reason to walk when your Q's up, especially if you're not about to run out of mana. You go in for the raw W. Once again, you knew you weren't going to kill him, so it's kind of a waste. You're just putting yourself in danger and overextending when you should be hitting the turret. I like it. There, the W was fine because he'd gotten away from you. So even though you kind of raw W'd, you Q'd first, which I like. Yeah, so this is like what you want to see. Like there's multiple people in the same direction. You can throw out a W and get a triple knock up here. Q Gore Drinker. You R'd way too early. You're full HP, dude. Never R when you're unless they're about to like get away. Your R's, once again, it's for chase downs. If you're about to die since it heals you, or it's to block something that will kill you, like a 3-second morgue route, and then you're going to get chain CC'd. But you randomly just used it here when you're like full health, and they obviously weren't trying to escape, and they weren't escaping at all. So that was just a completely wasted R. You could have done several Qs, maybe 2 Ws. Yeah, get back in the fight, dude. You're full HP. Get back in it. W is hella sloppy, but it probably won't matter. And I assume that's GG's, honestly. Like, just stay at it. Why are you guys backing off? You guys have Baron buff and you're leaving when there's 2 of them are dead for another 15 seconds. I think you guys should have stayed. I guess you want Eldar. I guess that kind of makes sense, but I don't think you really need it. Like, you're already winning team fights. And I think your comp out scales theirs. Like, Nocturne falls off, Pantheon falls off. Triss kind of falls off if she goes Hell Blades, in my opinion, but the only person on your team who falls off is kind of the Silas, and that's it. It doesn't even fall off that hard. So you're just randomly walking around. I think you could honestly take them, just focus the on. You'd see, ooh, do they have heal cut? Yeah, they both have Thorn Mill, so probably not. Once again, no reason to throw that out raw, just Q Blue Smite into him. You don't have to throw your W's out this early, man. You're already behind them. Just get in there with your Qs and auto attacks. If they're gonna perma juke too, you just Q auto. You don't even toss W until they've finally decided they're gonna run away generally, or unless you're gonna hit several. Yeah, perfect. But once again, I probably would have queued into W. They did pin themselves up nicely though against that pillar to where they couldn't juke right. All they could do was juke left. That was a pretty easy gimme there. Nice. So stay on top. You see, every time you Q and then W, it looks so much better. It just sets it up for free. Nice job though overall. I'd say it's about to expect out of a bronze Kayn player. The biggest things you need to do differently is full clear on Kayn. Learn how to 6 camp clear, be done 3:15 or sooner, and to scuttle then gank. That'll get you to silver on its own. Just proper clearing. And never go to a gank if you don't think you're going to get a kill. If you don't think there's a 95% chance it's going to be a beneficial kill for you and your teammates, you don't go to it. You're just better off taking the enemy's camps, or your camps are resetting to farm your camps again. And whenever you use your W on Kayn, especially red Kayn and normal Kayn, you never use it until you either have to or it's a gimme, like they're lined up against a wall, or you're gonna hit multiple people, or they're slowed or something, like with your blue smite. But you never just throw it out raw, because you have to stand still to use it anyway, so you can if it misses, then you can't even get to them. So generally you're gonna Q then W, or Q auto attack W, that type of thing. On the positive notes, your runes were great, your build was great, and yeah, it was pretty good. Anyways, good job, man, and best of luck out there on the Rift. Peace.